Transportation collapse in southern Germany. The reason is the rains that hit the region. The Bavarian city of Nuremberg suffered the most. Its streets went underwater. Basements and underground parking lots flooded. People had to get out of their cars through the windows. Pedestrians were waist-deep in water. Residents complained about problems with electricity. The day before, Frankfurt and Main Airport cancelled dozens of flights because of the bad weather. Tornadoes swept over the sea near Tuips. In Tuips, several tornadoes were seen over the sea. They passed about 10 kilometers from the coast. Weather forecasters warn of worsening weather across the region. There will be showers, thunderstorms and strong winds. Local residents and tourists are asked to be careful, if possible, stay at home. A storm warning is in effect in the region. In June, a tornado swept over the north of Crimea. Locals saw a small funnel in Zankoysky district. It appeared over the fields, then swept over the roads. This is a rare phenomenon for the peninsula. Almost 600 people have been evacuated in Sochi because of the rains. More than half of them are in temporary accommodation centers. Emergency services of the resort city continue to fight the consequences of the volley downpour. In the region there was a downpour, which forecasters still call a volley. It lasted not long, but caused a lot of trouble. The city was hit by 100 millimeters of precipitation, which is more than some countries get in a year. Roads turned into raging rivers, cars were swept away. Thousands of people are helping to restore Sochi after the flood. They are removing debris, washing roads, disinfecting streets. The water level is gradually dropping thanks to the powerful pumping systems of the Vodokhanal. But it is still impossible to walk. People are asking for help. It is difficult to cope with the situation. Entire neighborhoods are flooded. Rescuers are working non-stop, evacuating people. The morning was not the kindest for the citizens of Nizhny Novgorod. Since nightfall, the city was hit by a heavy downpour, which left the city stuck in traffic jams. A couple of hours later, the situation worsened. The rain was suddenly replaced by a powerful snowfall, which became a huge problem for drivers and those who were in a hurry to do business. By the way, there have been multi-kilometer traffic jams on the roads for half a day already. Forecasts of forecasters do not predict anything good until tomorrow morning. Just a few hours later, winter came to Nizhny Novgorod. The city was covered with a powerful snowfall, which even forecasters did not warn about. At this point, the roads were paralyzed even more severely. Only a few drivers changed their summer tires. With every hour the elements only gained momentum, and by lunchtime the snowfall spread like in the coldest days of winter. The situation was aggravated by the hurricane wind, which blew down pedestrians hiding behind umbrellas and trees. Because of the bad weather, more than 40 settlements in the region were left without electricity. It is not known how long Nizhny Novgorod residents will have to sit without light. According to the forecasts of the Ministry of Emergency Situations, wind and snow will remain in the region until tomorrow morning. And by the evening in the region is expected to be icy. Such an early snowfall is not quite usual for the region. As noted in the Regional Ministry of Emergency Situations, this year snow fell 10 days earlier than usual. The forecast of weather forecasters, alas, is disappointing. An earthquake with magnitude 5.5 has been registered in the south of Iran. Specialists of the European Mediterranean Seismic Center have registered an earthquake with magnitude 5.5, which occurred in the south of Iran in 54 kilometers from the port city of Bandar Abbas. The earthquake was registered at 19.26. Epicenter was located at 54 kilometers to the northwest from the city of Bandar Abbas. The origin lay at a depth of 7 kilometers. Information about possible victims and destructions was not received at the moment. Earlier on Tuesday morning, seismologists reported that the earthquake with a magnitude of 5.5 occurred in the south of Iran in the province of Hormozgan. Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano has exploded 3 times. Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano has awakened, keeping the people of the state of Puebla on alert. At least 3 significant explosions have been recorded in recent days, Tribuna de la Bahía reports. A total of 195 low-intensity eruptions accompanied by emissions of water vapor, volcanic gases and ash were recorded in the 24-hour period up to 11 a.m. On Saturday around 2:20 p.m., the giant emitted an impressive column of smoke accompanied by ash and gases. The smoke cloud was visible from several kilometers away, but because of the ash did not reach the city of Puebla. The second and third explosions occurred around 1642 and 1711. No significant risks to the population were reported. Authorities warned residents in the northeastern neighborhoods of Puebla and the southern, eastern and western neighborhoods of Mexico City of a possible ashfall. Scary footage. On the Italian island of Ischia there was a powerful landslide, rescuers are searching for the missing. A torrent of mud and debris that reached the coast early Saturday morning felled trees, engulfed buildings and dragged cars into the sea. Several people were killed in a landslide triggered by heavy rains on the island of Ischia, near Naples. A torrent of mud and debris that reached the coast early Saturday morning felled trees, engulfed buildings and swept dozens of cars into the sea. The body of a woman was reportedly found under the mud, with several other people reported missing. Dozens of homes were cut off, with rescuers hampered by bad weather. Resident Lisa Michairo told ANSA news agency, "We heard the rumbling at about 3 in the morning, then the first landslide came down, followed by the second at about 5 in the morning. It was terrible." Italian Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi told reporters that the situation was very difficult and that the missing people were believed to be trapped under the mud flow. Up to 155 millimeters of rain fell in 6 hours. The Campania region, where the island of Ischia is located, has been experiencing heavy rain for several days. A weather warning for rain and strong winds is in force until Sunday. On Thursday, 2 people died in the region due to bad weather. An Argentine tourist drowned after falling into the sea during a coastal storm. Another person was killed by a lightning strike on a beach. Local authorities are urging residents to stay at home so as not to interfere with the work of emergency services. The storm felled dozens of trees in Kaliningrad. The wind fell more than a dozen branches and trees in Kaliningrad, some of them fell on the wires of power lines and street lighting. In addition, there was damage to cars, according to the city administration. In Kaliningrad, 14 cases of tree and branch felling were recorded. Some of them fell on the roadway, power lines and street lighting. There is a threat of a tree falling on a children's playground, said the authorities. In connection with the bad weather, it was decided to close the Kaliningrad Zoo for visitors. This decision was taken for safety reasons. Large branches can be torn off from century-old trees. Earlier it was reported that over 90 settlements in Belarus were left without power due to storm winds. Record wind speed was recorded in Taiwan. The wind in Taiwan reached a record speed during the passage of the typhoon, 95 meters per second. The typhoon caused huge damage to the southern part of the island. More than 200,000 houses were left without electricity. Trees and tall structures fell, several buildings were destroyed. About 200 people were injured. Schools and offices were closed on the island, air flights and ferries were cancelled. Taiwan Central Meteorological Administration announced a storm warning due to the approach of Typhoon Koinu. In several areas of the island cancelled classes and schools and suspended the work of office establishments. At least 93 flights and 97 ferry services were cancelled in Taiwan due to the approaching storm.